All right, good morning, good evening, and hello, everybody. My name is Payal Tandon. I'm going to be your host today in today's Coach Connect webinar. We conduct these webinars 3 times a week, typically on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. The agenda for these sessions is fairly straightforward. We want to make sure that we are available to you at these designated times so that you can come and share the questions that you are facing problems with. You can come and ask us about whether you are headed in the right direction. In certain open-ended sessions, what we do is we take a look at your accounts and we do live account analysis, just giving you feedback on whether you are proceeding, whether you are studying with the right kind of mindset, because I know all of you put in so much of hard work, and all we want to make sure is if you are putting in the effort, then that effort needs to be in the right direction so that you get to your target score in the most efficient manner. That is why we are here. We pinpoint what you're doing right, we pinpoint what you are not doing right. All right. So you all can hear me, right? Okay. Good. So I see that, as I said, I see a lot of new names here. So I believe that this is your first time attending Coach Connect session. So if you can tell me how many of you have attended Coach Connect sessions in the past. I see Nidhi. Nidhi has been here. But those of you who are attending it for the first time, want to make sure that you guys understand what is it that we do so that there are no surprises. It's a highly interactive session. As I said, the agenda is fairly fluid. In today's session, what we're going to do is take up some of the questions that have already been submitted, more along the lines of whether you are filling your error log the right way. Because one of the most important things that in your GMAT journey is, one thing, obviously, you have to be consistent. You have to show up to study. Second thing is that when you are studying, you need to have the right mindset, in the sense that it's not just checking the boxes, it's ensuring that you are learning from every piece of content that you're consuming on the e-GMAT platform. Now, what that means is whenever you are working on a concept file or an application file, you need to get immersed in that. Okay. Likewise, when you're doing cementing phase, it's not just about answering those 10 questions in the quiz setting. It's a lot about applying the process in the right manner, right? Not letting go of your process, and doing strategic review once you have attempted the questions, and being very, very hard on yourself that I have to get this question right, and if I didn't get this question right, what was not right in my thought process. And along those lines, in today's session, we are going to take up some of the error log entries that students have submitted, and we are going to learn from that, and we're going to see what we are doing right and what we are not doing right. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just warming up to everybody so that we are all on the same page with regards to this session. So I see Nidhi, I see Parth, I see Sobhita, who have been in these sessions previously. How about you, Abhay, Daniel, John, Rajni, and Saurav? I haven't seen you guys, so tell me, what is it that you are preparing right now? Which phase of your GMAT prep are you in? Tell me about the issues that you're facing. So just get warmed up here. So type along, and then while you guys do that, I am going to start off with the error log entries that we have had so far. Sure, Nidhi, I can do that. You have a meeting at 9. Absolutely, I can do that. So Nidhi, hi Mohit, good to see you. I'm going to talk about your video as well, Mohit. So Nidhi, I see that, and let me share my screen. 1 second. Nidhi, I think this is the second time that you are submitting your videos. And I saw that you submitted 2 videos. One of those, there was no audio again. For second one, there was audio, so I'm going to talk about that. Okay, so I'm going to take that one up. All right, so you have to be careful when you record videos to make sure that your settings are right, because I know it can be very frustrating to record a 5-minute video only to realize that there was no audio. Okay, I know this happened last time as well. So let's get going here. I'm going to share my screen. And okay, good. So this is the question. It's a medium level question. It's a medium level question. I know you guys haven't gone through the question, but that's okay. So Nidhi has selected the correct answer. And I believe, Nidhi, what you wanted my confirmation over here was on the fact whether you are approaching this question in the right manner or not. And if you want, you can speak as well. You do have speaking rights, right? So you can speak. So mostly you are on the right direction. This question, you understood the passage, right? You understood that this is a paradox question. Absolutely right about that. You were not. So choice E is the incorrect answer choice. And here, if you selected this choice, then frankly, it is you did not select this choice, right? Choice, you answered this question correctly. So again, it was paradox. You answered the question correctly, so I'm not sure what exactly are you looking for. So do you want to speak up so that I understand what your exact doubt was? Nidhi?
Hello. Hi, Payal.
Yes, hi Nidhi, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have answered this incorrectly because
Okay.
I have understood this passage is paradox, but
Mhm.
in this, uh, I have missed one point, and because of that, I have answered this incorrectly. The one point they have mentioned is supply of water reduced. So they are not talking about the less water against demands, but they are talking about the reduced water. So
Mhm.
I mean that they are comparing with demand, and because of that, I have incorrectly chosen the E option. Am I going
Mhm.
on a right way?
Um, well, so you're asking me whether you have identified the correct reason for why you faltered. Is that what you're asking
Yes,
me?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So I believe so. So tell me again. So what did you think? So why did you select choice E? Tell me that.
So I infer that during the pre-thinking, I infer that the mention that the residents complain that their overall supply of water has reduced. So I
Mhm.
infer that they are talking about against the demand. However, the passage is not
Okay,
talking
hold on.
about keeping
Hold
it
on, hold on.
against the
So,
demand.
so this is the pre-thinking that you did. So I, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay, I see where you're going. Okay, so here is the issue. What you have done is you've automatically assumed that the demand went up. Is that what you did,
yeah,
right? Yeah. So the correct so okay, so for the sake of everybody else over here, what's happening is that there is this city where there are two suppliers of water. One supplier increased the supply of water, and the other supplier maintained it. Okay, no change. Now despite so overall supply was increased, obviously, right? Now this is the inference that you didn't draw,
yes,
Nidhi. The overall supply
yes.
actually increased. So, according to the passage, overall supply increased. Now, when you read further, what it says is that even though this other company maintained its supply level, the residents
Mm,
complained that overall supply of water has reduced. Now, you have to put this into context that what the two companies have done is they have increased together. They have increased the supply of water, but
mm,
still the residents are complaining that their overall supply has reduced, right? So this is the information that the passage is giving you. Now here what you have to do is you have to think about what is it that the yes, so Mohit is absolutely right. There is one thing, so this is a funnel here. The suppliers are
mm,
supplying and the residents are receiving. So suppliers are supplying and then the next block residents are receiving. Now is there a reduction, is there a reduction because of distribution, right? Because maybe it's not 100% conversion. Whatever the suppliers are providing, the 100% is not getting received by the customers, right? And
Hmm.
that is the assumption, that is the pre-thinking that you need, that's the visualization that you needed to do. Two entities
Hmm.
here, suppliers and the
Hmm.
consumers. So where you
Hmm.
faltered was you didn't segregate these two entities, you didn't have that clarity in your mind when you were reading the passage.
Hmm.
That makes
Yeah. Okay.
right? So that is the first thing that you have to do. So I'm going to stop sharing
Hmm.
here.
Yes.
So the first thing that you have to do is you have to understand what is the passage telling you, and just based on that information, you then draw your notes out, okay, however you want to do it, and then you get into your pre-thinking mode, right? Good
Hmm.
thing is that you were able to identify that this was a paradox question. Okay, now you understand, given the suppliers, given the customers, right, and given that these people are sending the water in but the customers are not receiving, right, what could happen, what could have happened? One thing is that there is a leakage, potential leakage, as Mohit is saying, and that's what the correct choice is playing on. Other thing that is, maybe the suppliers have so maybe the customer demand has increased, right?
Hmm.
So we are comparing two different time frames. Maybe the customer demand has increased, which is why despite the increased supply the customers are still not happy with it. Okay, now this is
Okay.
also another pre-thinking. Now this is the pre-thinking that the incorrect answer choice is playing on. Now incorrect answer choice is simply saying that the supply was not proportional to the demand, right? But it's not saying that the
Hmm.
demand actually increased,
Yeah.
right? So the corrective action for you is to just spend 30 additional seconds on the passage itself to understand the passage. Don't jump into pre-thinking. I
Hmm.
think right now you're jumping into pre-thinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Correct.
don't seem confident.
Yes, I'm doing that because I'm doing pre-thinking while reading it.
No, don't do that.
So,
No.
so
Good.
I'm doing that. I think that is
I
why
am,
it is.
yes, yes. And are you doing that because you want to save on time?
Yes, because I'm
No.
taking while I'm doing that, like once I complete the reading and then I go to pre-thinking, then I will take almost 5 to 6 minutes. So I feel like that is why I'm doing that two steps, line by line, so
Okay.
that I can
Good.
solve the question in 3 minutes, three to four
Okay.
minutes.
Nidhi, what are your medium stats right now in CR? Remind me.
So last cementing quiz I have given, which is 60%. Before that, it is 40%. First cementing quiz is 40%, second is 60%.
And this is in medium, right? You're still in medium.
This is in medium.
Okay, forget about timing. And Abhay, you're also facing the same issue. Do not do pre-thinking during reading. In fact, Mohit. So when I talk about Mohit's suggestion, all of this is going to come into. So we're going to contextualize all of this. But one thing that you can take away from this session, and you can feel free to drop off of this session after you get that takeaway. Those of you who are in CR and who are facing this problem, read the
Hmm.
passage. Okay, get
Hmm.
complete solid handle on the passage. Okay, don't worry about the timing will automatically fall in place. Okay, have trust in
Okay.
yourself. Okay, you need to have faith in your abilities. Okay, you've made
Hmm.
it this far.
Hmm.
GMAT is the easiest exam to conquer if you have trust in you yourself and in us. Okay, and believe me, I'm sitting here promising you, if you give it 10 questions, give me 10 questions that you solve using the correct process, not short circuiting anything. Give me full faith. Okay, that's what I
Sure.
need. Okay,
Yeah.
right, and then so don't jumble up the steps when you're reading the statement. Okay, when you're
Yeah.
reading first statement, understand that, split it into smaller parts, contextualize that, make your notes. When you're reading second statement, do the same thing and then relate it back to what you have read. Okay, when you're
Hmm.
reading third statement, again, do read it independently, read it while contextualizing it with whatever you have read. Then
Hmm.
you put it all together. Then you go into pre-thinking. Then you go into answer choice analysis. Okay. Do that for 10 questions, Nidhi. Nidhi
Yeah.
and Abhay. And then send me an email. And so Nidhi, you already have chat connect with me. Abhay, share your
Yeah.
email address so that, and you know what? Don't put your email addresses here because then they're going to get lost. I'm going to open another uh, poll over here. So please put your email addresses there. Okay, that way I have it and I can just enter your email addresses. Okay, and this is short answer open poll. Okay. Okay. All right. Um, got it? So once you are
Yes.
done with this exercise, send me a message. Tell me how you are feeling. Only track your time. Do not control your time. Okay. You will see a progression from 6 minutes to 5 minutes to maybe 4.5 minutes. In some questions, you may go back up to 6 minutes, right? Just continue following this thing, and ultimately, you will see the process work for you because you will have automatically made those neural connections. Right now, by jumbling up those steps, you're not giving your brain enough time to cement those neural connections in your mind. Okay, that's what is happening. All right, Nidhi,
Sure, sure. Thank you,
off to
Payal.
work
Thank you.
now and write back to me. Okay, so I'll expect to
Sure.
see you. So maybe today's working session, that's what you do, and then join tomorrow in tomorrow's Coach Connect session and tell me how it went. Make sense?
Sure, definitely.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Let me now, yes, thank you, Nidhi. Have a good day at work.
Thank you. Same to you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. All right. So Abhay, same thing applies to you. Okay. Let me see what Manan has said. I expressed the passage in numbers. Earlier supply was 100, equally distributed. Okay. So you assumed equal distribution, right, Manan? Again, it's so I don't want you to assume that. Okay. Reason being that if there is some other answer choice that is playing on that, you may get stuck. You may already have that in your mind. Okay. So in my case, I would suggest so if you're considering equal distribution, also consider another case in which you're assuming 40/60. Okay, but I'm very happy that you're thinking about numbers. Really good. Post government pressure supply by TMC increased, example 80, and TWMC was 50. Okay, overall supply increases from 100 to 130. Good. But the logical gap is even though there is increased supply, residents are not getting supply. Very good. Very good. In this case, I would also assume a demand. So you could really assume a demand of 120. Okay. And then you say that, okay, initially the supply was 100 and the demand was 120. So people were complaining. Now the supply has increased to 130. And in your case, demand is still 120 because this passage is not saying anything about the demand being increased, right? So why are people getting annoyed? Okay, so good, Manan, really good. It's telling me, so Manan, help me understand. I know that you went through the last Coach Connect session in which we were talking about visualization. So have you started to take these numbers after you went through that session recording? Because what you're doing is absolutely spot on. Good. Let me see what Mohit is saying. Pre-thinking only works if you have the entire picture. You can't visualize correctly without reading the entire passage. It's highly likely that may miss on finer details. Absolutely, Mohit, very well said. If you're doing pre-thinking while reading, you are likely to miss out on those things. Yeah. Um, Parth, you suggested solving 10 questions applying e-GMAT process to cement the process. Yes. So what I'm suggesting, Parth, is that again, I don't know your exact scenario, but what Nidhi and Abhay were going through, they were pre-thinking while reading the passage. So for them, I'm saying don't worry about the time and just focus on reading first and then doing pre-thinking. And reading while reading also break down those steps. Now, see, I won't suggest the same thing to Manan because Manan is already doing visualization the right way. Okay, so it's also, but it's also, you know, uh, so again, it is very specific to the problem that Nidhi and Abhay were facing. So Manan is saying, I was doing this before, but ability has gotten better both in time and accuracy. Good. I'm so happy that you've shown your entire thought process here, Manan. So Abhay and Nidhi, this is something for you that as you start to do this, you will automatically form that muscle, those neural connections in your mind, and your timing and accuracy will improve. So thank you so much, Manan, for sharing that. All right, John. Abhay is asking, how can I get schedule of next Okay, at what time? So all Coach Connect sessions happen at 8:30 a.m. IST. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. So if you can just put that on your calendars, I will be here without fail. If I'm not there, Rashmi, Abha, Dhruv will be there, right? So we are going to be here 8:30 a.m. IST on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays without fail. Okay. Um, and how will you get? Is you will also get reminders. So on your course page, you're going to get the banner in which the link is going to be the same. There is going to be a link, but as such, just pencil that in. And maybe what we'll do is we'll send a blanket email to everybody so that you just add those on your calendars. Okay. All right. Disha is saying, I'd like to participate in the error log session, would love to get feedback, but if I can just explain by writing my approach instead of recording a video. That's absolutely fine, Disha. It's just that when I see a video, you can express yourself a lot better, right? But if you want to send this to me in writing, that's absolutely fine. Essentially, okay, so next time when you record an error log video and which you want me to critique, this is what I want you guys to do. Okay, so let me explain this to everybody here. So what we are doing when we are critiquing your error log entry is that we are getting into your thought process. Okay, now your thought process while you are solving the question. So there are two things over here. One is, what was your thought process when you were solving the question? And in that thought process, I want you to give me details of when you read the first line, what were the notes that you took? What were the inferences that you drew? What were the confusion points that you had? When you read the second line, what were the notes that you took? How did you relate your second sentence with the first sentence? And again, I'm saying sentences here. That doesn't necessarily mean sentence by sentence. It could also mean part of the sentence, right? All I'm saying is when you're reading an idea, how are you translating that? How are you visualizing that? Exactly how Manan did over here, right? Then when you're reading second part, how are you contextualizing that with what you've already said? Give me all of that, then give me a summary of what is the summary of the passage that you arrived at. Okay, then I want you to tell me what were you expected to do in order to answer the question. First, is it a paradox question, right? Right, so on and so forth. Do you have to find an assumption? Do you have to strengthen it? Then you basically tell me, how did you go about pre-thinking? How many pre-thinking scenarios did you think about? Okay, then you go into the answer choice analysis. Now here, you don't necessarily have to give me answer choice analysis of all the 5 choices. Just tell me, why did you select the answer that you selected? Okay, and why did you reject the correct answer? Those are two that I absolutely need from you. Okay, why did you reject the actual correct answer? What was the thought process that went in your head? Second, why did you select the answer that you selected? Okay, now if there was another answer choice that was very close that you were confused about, tell me about that as well. Because what this entire description does is it gives me an idea of which steps you're faltering at. For example, when we looked at Nidhi's case, I was able to tell that without her telling me exactly what that she's doing pre-thinking and reading together, I was able to decipher that based on the output that she presented to me, right? So that's the feedback that I can provide from my side, which is going to tell you what the corrective actions need to be. Does that make sense? Now that was first part of the error log entry. The second part of the error log video is that once you have read the solution, okay, once you've read the solution, where do you think you faltered in your process? Because at the end of the day, I want you to be independent because I cannot be there reviewing each and every question that you solve, right? That strategic review muscle has to be developed by you because you are the one who knows the best as to where you're faltering. Okay. Now, we are there to guide you, which is why all of these videos that you see on the course platform as to how to fill the error log, all of that is a demonstration of how you're supposed to do that. But that's a demonstration from our side. Sometimes you need additional help to pinpoint exactly whether what you're doing is right or not, which is why these sessions have been instituted, so that we can give you that feedback, and so that we can train you as to how to think about that. Okay, so two parts over here. One is your thought process when you're solving the question. Number two, after, when you're doing strategic review, when you're reviewing the solution, how is it that you are critiquing your own process? Okay, are you able to get to the, what is the conclusion that you're getting to as to why you faltered, and what is the corrective action in your mind? And then we are going to help you address that, whether you're doing it right or not. Okay, make sense, everybody? Please tell me if you all understand that, because the more, and again, goal of all of this is to teach you how to do strategic review yourself, because the moment you get that, the moment you're able to identify the issues in your thought process, that is the key, that's going to be the turnaround point in your GMAT prep, because that is the mentality that you need to have. Make a mistake, absolutely make a mistake, because without making mistakes you're not going to learn. Make a mistake, figure out why you faltered, move, correct that, implement corrective action, go on to making more mistakes. Got it? Okay. Let me look at Daniel's question here. For RC session, do we need to add the whole passage analysis to the video? And for a detailed question of the whole passage while recording the video, do we skip pre-thinking and go directly to tell you how we do the answer choice analysis? Good point, Daniel. I would suggest for a detailed, for RC passage, let's say if you're giving me a main point question, if you faltered in the main point question, then I will want to see a detailed passage analysis. Although that being said, even if you gave me one paragraph analysis, I will be able to give you feedback on whether you are reading the passage in the right way or not. In RC, there are multiple factors at play. Number one, are you reading the passage the right way, right? Which means that, again, the kind of connections that we talked about for a CR argument, same thing applies to RC argument, RC passage as well. So if you gave me analysis of, let's say, one paragraph, that should give me a good idea of how you are approaching the reading aspect of it. Okay, so that should be enough. Now let's say there are three paragraphs and you faltered in the main point question. Then in that case, I want you to record one paragraph in detail, and then just summarize the remaining two paragraphs. That what was the summary that you extracted from second paragraph and from third paragraph. Why am I saying that? Because when you're answering a main point question, what you're really doing is, have you extracted all the three summaries properly? And then once you extracted those three summaries, were you able to put them all together to arrive at the main point of the passage? Got it? So I'll be able to check three things over here actually. One, are you reading the passage correctly or not? And that I'm going to see from how you are giving your analysis of just one paragraph. You can select second paragraph, third paragraph, whichever, okay, your choice. Number two, give me passage summaries, okay, and then tell me how you arrived at the main point when you pre-thought it, okay. Number three, your answer choice analysis, again, the choice that you selected, and why did you reject the correct choice. Got it? Okay, Daniel. Yeah. Then let's come. But Daniel, I think I should be able to give you some feedback already based on what you submitted. So yeah, so I should be able to do that. Okay. Um, Disha is saying in the smart sheet, the video link is compulsory. I think I can articulate better if I write it down. It's not compulsory, Disha. It's okay. Okay, so just give me a Word document and you can upload that Word document. Okay, nothing is compulsory here. Okay, the only thing compulsory is that you give your GMAT prep your 200%. Okay, and I'm here to help you. Okay, that's the only thing that's compulsory, and just be very frank with me. Okay, all right. All right. So with that, okay, Parth, I know you have submitted your information, and did I look at that? And sometimes I'm not able to look at all the entries, and I apologize for that. Okay, Parth, I don't believe I looked at your entry, but what I'll do is right after this session, I'm going to review it. I'm going to send you a personalized video. Okay, Parth? Or I'll take it up in tomorrow's session. which is why I have these sessions 3 times a week, so that if I miss out on something, then I can, review it. But were you able to? And you've submitted. Actually, RC, I did look at. Oh, okay, okay. I think I looked at Daniel's. Let me see whose I looked at. Mhm. Let me see here. No, this is the moon part. Is not what I looked at. Let me go back. Maybe I looked at yours then. Let's see. Why are you having problems reaching Smartsheet? Okay. So, Daniel and Parth, I will address both of these queries tomorrow. Okay. I don't want to do a half-hearted attempt over here, right? So I'll address both of these tomorrow. Okay. And again, maybe what I'll do is, if tomorrow is too late for you guys, I will review your, because you guys put in your error entry, so I feel a little bad. So I'll review it right after our meeting today, and I'll send you personalized videos, and then join back tomorrow so that we can have follow-up conversation on that. Is that okay? But I can definitely do your account analysis. Okay. Absolutely, Daniel. I'm going to record a video for you, and parts for both of you. Okay. Now let me take up what Mohit had submitted. Yeah. Now, Mohit did not submit an error log entry, but what he did was he gave us a very, very good suggestion. Okay. Um, Mohit, I haven't looked at your second video. That was, you submitted that a little later, but I looked at your first recommendation, Mohit, again for your entry also, because I haven't reviewed it. I don't want to review it. I don't want to waste your time over here going over that, right? So I'll send that. So I'll send a video to you as well right after this meeting. Okay. But there is something very interesting that Mohit came up with. And the reason why, and I can definitely respond to him separately, right? And we can get on with the implementation of that. Yes, Parth, you may drop off. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. But the reason, unless you want me to do your account analysis, Parth, it's up to you. Okay. But the reason why I want to bring up what Mohit said was because I wanted these sessions to be back and forth between me and you guys. Okay. And that's very important because we want to understand your pain points. And I should not be the only one giving you feedback as to how your prep is coming along. I want you guys to give me feedback as well, what your pain points are in terms of your overall prep, so that we can make enhancements to our product, right? Because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that all of you have the right platform that serves your needs from the standpoint of you getting to your GMAT score in the most efficient manner. And that requires skill building. And skill building requires that back and forth feedback between me and you guys. Okay. Now, what Mohit told me was that Shobita, I'm going to take that up, but let me just finish what I started here. Thank you for posting that. So what Mohit expressed was a very prevalent issue, right? And I want you all to tell me whether you guys also experience what Mohit has experienced. And what he said was that we do the course. Yes, people who don't do the course well, they stumble in cementing. That's a given thing, right? But people who do the course well, and by doing course well, I mean that they score A and A minus grades. There are some of those who still falter. Again, I'm saying some of those, and in tomorrow's session, I'm going to show you stats as to what percentage of people actually falter after doing the course well. Okay, so we're going to talk about that, but let's talk about the people who falter, because my job over here is to cater to everybody here, right? So for people who have done the course well and still are faltering in cementing, the reason why that's happening is because they start, even though they understand the process from the course, but when they come into the timed environment, they let go of the process. They get in that timed mentality and they let go of the process. How many of you experience that in your mind? Because GMAT is a timed exam, right? While you're doing the course, you are under proper guidance, nothing is being timed, and you are just relaxed there. But when you come into cementing mode and when you have to solve those 10 questions within the timed environment, you get in that panic mode and you start to jumble up steps. How many of you experience that? And I'd like you to even vote over here. Disha experiences it. Daniel has experienced it. Yes. Actually, I'll take away the vote here. Right. Now, Mohit has absolutely. Yes. Now, this is something that we had already experienced. So Mohit, and again, our platform has evolved over the years, right? And that evolution has happened from feedback from the students, right? Now we had experienced that, and that's the reason why initially we used to have cementing quizzes only in standard time. Okay, but then when we experience this drop off in accuracy from stage 1 to stage 2 for even those people who were doing stage 1 properly, what we did was we introduced the quizzes in relaxed mode. That's why now you have two modes, standard mode and relaxed mode, right? But then now what you are saying is that even those relaxed mode quizzes are not working as well because still there is some time pressure, right? So what Mohit's suggestion is that instead of having 10 questions in the relaxed mode, give me 5 questions in the relaxed mode. And okay, so in relaxed mode, there is 3 minutes per question, and maybe even elongate the time. That's what you're saying, Mohit, and that's absolutely fine. We can definitely do that. Yes, absolutely, we can do that. So right now, relaxed mode is 3 minutes per question. How much time would you be okay with? Maybe 4 minutes per question, or maybe 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay, well and good. We can do that. Absolutely, we're going to do that. And this is why I wanted to discuss this with all of you over here. That when you give me, so there are, I can infer the problems that you guys are facing, and based on that inference, looking at the data, I was able to. We actually went from including the relax mode as well. But when you come and tell me that, okay, let's make it even more lenient because we are still faltering, we are going to take that feedback and we're going to implement that. So, and I want such kind of interaction amongst us to be more frequent so that we can make the platform more and more amenable to you. Make sense, everybody? So good job, Mohit. I want everybody to comment on his forthcoming nature and the way he expresses himself. So thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Okay. So good. All right. So Manan is asking was it whether I was able to. Yes. So Manan, I have three options: review, concept. Yes. So Manan, let me take a look at. So your what you did was good. Your analysis is fine. That you need to build on your visualization muscle. I'm happy to see that. You don't need to review your application file. So let me take a look at your account here, Manan. Yeah. So let's read what Manan is saying, that if the approach adopted is appropriate, what corrective action should I take? So what Manan is saying is that his visualization needs some work. He's right now 40% there, and that seems to make sense to me. Review concept files, take relaxed medium quizzes to solidify, or a combination of both. Yes. Okay. So let's take a look at this. To screen share. Okay, so Manan, tell me, have you already, so Manan, do you want to speak up? Because remind me what we talked about last time. You've already gone through your files, right?
Yes, yes. I think I've gone through the files once or
Twice,
twice, perhaps even more
once or
than
twice.
that.
More than that, yeah. So there's no point
Mhm.
in you go through the files again.
Yeah.
So, and where we, okay, so let me just remind myself as to what, so help me. So I'm going to, this is a good way for me to build on my memory skills. So retention skills in terms of, yeah. And the more I talk to you guys, the more I'll be able to do that. So thank you for that. So remind me if I remember this correctly. So you faced problems with your medium cementing. the fourth quiz over here, that's when you went and tried some official questions, and you were able to build your visualization skills there. You came back and you attempted this medium quiz. You scored a 70%. You got the confidence. You felt your skills were improving. But when you came into hard, you faltered again. That's when we had a conversation, the last Coach Connect session. Now you did the error log session. You watched that recording, you came back and you said you realized that your visualization muscle is still not there. So have I summarized it appropriately?
No, so just one gap. I did the OG quiz, and after that I took the medium cementing. I scored the 70%. I
Yes.
knew just three questions were off, and I already knew what the reasons were. So that's when I took a hard cementing.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, so 40% score was there, and I knew that these two, three, four questions were low hanging fruits. After that, I think I did a few OG questions just to keep myself in practice, and then did the hard quiz, which went horribly wrong. And this is where
Yes.
I asked for spots. So this was Tuesday morning.
Yes. And that's when you went and did the error log video. And that's where you
Correct.
realized that your visualization is still not on track where it should be.
Correct. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Got it. Got it. So I remembered it correctly. Okay, good. I'm happy about that. All right. So for you, I don't believe you should go through the course again. Okay, so my recommendation to you is still the same recommendation that I gave to Nidhi and Abhay. Okay, I want to see something before I say. One second, I'm going to look at something over here. I'm looking at hard. I know. Okay, I want to look at the timing here. Um, Performance drivers, that's the issue here. Okay, so I would suggest the same thing. And let me repeat what I want you to do. Go to, let's go here, take a custom quiz and easy, unanswered, no, only answered questions. And so you have these 64, 57 medium questions, okay? And you have 21 hard questions here, okay? Um, so what I want you to do is medium questions, just take up incorrect questions. Now, how many times have you looked at these questions, Manan? These incorrect questions?
I think just once.
One time when
Maybe
you attempted,
maybe
right?
maybe one or two questions, maybe more than once, but ideally just once.
Good, good. Here's what I want you to do. These 25 questions, and maybe over here also, so incorrect ones, actually both correct and incorrect. So answered questions. Let's go to the next step. Select first only inference questions. And this is something that applies to other people also who haven't as yet built their visualization muscle. Okay, these are 10 questions over here. Okay, I want you to do inference, all of your answered inference questions, regardless of whether you answer them correctly or incorrectly. Okay, I want you to do these questions without, create a quiz, maybe 5 questions at a time, right? So create a quiz in practice mode here, not quiz mode, practice mode. And quiz time, I don't care about it. Maybe give 30 minutes. I don't care about that. Okay, 6 minutes per question. Do that. And now what you're doing is, not, I don't care whether you're answering the question in timed manner. All I want you to focus on is visualization. How you're reading the passage, each statement, how you're relating it to that, how you're contextualizing, how you are drawing assumption, how you are making notes. I want you to do that for these questions. Okay, as you will do, and I want you to track your time. Maybe for the first question you take 6 minutes, maybe for the second question you take five minutes, or maybe even you may even take 10 minutes. I don't care about that. Put 60 minutes over here. I don't care about that. Okay, but I don't want you to not do these 5 questions in a single setting. Do these 5 questions in a single sitting. That way you can see that how much time you're taking. Just track that. But in your mind, make a checklist that works for you. Okay, Manan, the good thing is you have started to you are visualizing in a very proper manner now. Okay, just minor enhancements that need to be done. Even if the question seems very straightforward to you, okay, do that. Force yourself to do that visualization. Okay, what will happen? So do that for inference, then move to assumption. Okay, in assumption you have three questions that you have answered, then maybe include evaluate. So do these three questions, then you include evaluate over here. So basically work your way through these answered questions, only focusing on the entire process. Maybe the first time when you looked at this assumption question, you were able to think of only two pre-thinking scenarios. Maybe now when you look at it, you're able to think of four pre-thinking scenarios. That is the mode that I want you to be in. Okay, spend at least 4 hours doing that. What you will see is, and again, I'm throwing that number out, even if that 4 hours goes to 6 hours, I'm absolutely fine with that. The goal is at the end of this exercise of answering these answered questions once again with that renewed mindset, with that focus that I have to really sharpen my visualization skills and my pre-thinking skills no matter what. Every answer choice that I'm selecting from now on, I'm going to be 100%, 200% certain that this is the correct answer, which means that I will be 200% sure that all the incorrect answer choices are incorrect for the right reasons. That is the mentality that I want you to have when you are going in this mode of fixing your visualization. Make sense, Manan?
Yes, 100%. So just to check, these are medium questions, right? Or were they hard
Do
questions?
this first, do this for medium questions,
Okay.
then move to
Okay.
hard questions. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe for hard questions, because you will have developed so much of, see, again, GMAT prep is not a linear thing, it's a step function. Okay, for some folks, and again, the size of those steps vary from person to person. Okay, you may take 6 hours on these medium questions to get to the same level that the other person may take only 2 hours on medium questions. But then, because you have gotten to that level for hard questions, your step may be much shorter. But for another person who's starting for hard questions at the same level may take a lot longer. So step sizes will vary from person to person, but those steps, with the progression of the steps and what you're doing in each step, would be the same thing. Okay, the reason for that, why the step sizes would be different, is because each person has their own skill set, right? Maybe you are way better in thinking about numbers, thinking, visualizing the argument through numbers than somebody else. So maybe that somebody else has to, maybe if I were to build that skill, maybe it'll take me a lot longer to basically start thinking about visualizing those arguments in terms of numbers, right? Maybe for me, note taking or visualizing in terms of figures is a lot more easy as compared to you, right? So that's where the size of the steps varies from person to person, because our inherent skill set is different, right? But at the end of the day, we have to get to that point wherein we are able to get completely immersed in the passage and get absolutely everything from the passage, so that we can answer the questions in the timed manner in the exam environment. That's the end goal. Make sense?
Yes, these were only answered questions, right?
Answered questions only. Just
Understood. Understood.
what I want you to do is, in your today's practice session, just work on answered questions, only medium questions. Okay, and then tell me, come tomorrow and tell me, okay, so here's what I want you to do. Take one question in the beginning of your session, record a video as to how you are proceeding with that, the one question that you faltered on when you're doing these, right? And then take the last question at the end of your session and then record that video. Okay, you will be able to see the level of difference. You will have become a lot more proficient in that 2 to 3 hour session that you do, and then come tomorrow and share your findings. Okay, make sense?
Yes, understood.
Got it? Okay. All right, let me take a look at Parth. Running behind schedule as per my study planner. Okay, all right, let me do that part. You all can see my screen, right? Okay. Very good. I love seeing this. Marble. Okay. Media, when did you do? Recently? All right. Okay. Parth, you have to do the same thing. Let me look at RC. Okay. It's the same problem, Parth. Reading is an issue. Reading and visualization. Um, okay. One second here. I'll get one more thing because you've done questions last time. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm getting out of all of this. One second. Okay. So, inference is definitely a huge issue. So, what I would suggest to you is an inference medium also. Wow. So, Parth, do exactly what I've just told Manan. Okay. So, in fact, homework for Nidhi, Abhay, Manan, and Parth is exactly the same. Okay. Please work on this and then come and report your experiences tomorrow. Okay, maybe if you guys want to do this together, sit together, share your contact information right now because you guys are doing exactly the same thing. Sit together, separately together because you should not be that way. You just get that motivation that I'm not doing this alone, right? Just a suggestion, right? But I want you to do exactly the same thing, okay? Because part what's going to happen is if you fix your reading ability in CR, you're going to see the improvement in RC happen automatically. Okay, maybe we may have to tweak certain things. Okay, but it's the same issue that I'm seeing over here. And I will anyway
Okay.
review your error log video. I'm pretty sure I'm going to see the same thing there. But I'll stand corrected if I see something else over there. If your reading ability is good in RC, then maybe there is something else going on with CR. Okay, so I'll be able to give you that feedback. But as I look at as it stands right now, looking at your stats in both CR and RC, just based on this data, I feel you just have to do that little bit of more effort on um, on your medium on these initial reading skills, fundamental reading skills. Make sense, Parth?
Yeah, so I'll go to the scholar area and solve the answered questions again, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
See, because
fine.
when I look at your skill data here, um, look at your dashboard here for medium questions, 65% accuracy in medium questions is way too low. 70% is the threshold, right? Now I understand that your initial accuracy was low, but see, when I see this up and down here, right, this means that there is something not quite right in the way you are approaching, right? Maybe you get and let me take a look at the expert analysis here to see, are there, maybe you start following the process and then you let go of the process. You look at this, I mean, in medium questions you're taking so much more time. That means that you are struggling right now with the initial reading processes, and that's what you have to hone in. Does
Okay,
that make sense? And this is your latest exam, right? The one in which you, so this 80% doesn't give me that warm and fuzzy. I'll be very honest. This 80% doesn't, in medium quiz, does not give me that level of confidence in your abilities because I'm seeing this excessive time in so many questions. Okay,
right.
and again, you always have to put things into context. 80% in a 10 question quiz, I just got two questions wrong, right? But that's not what your goal is. Your medium is a stepping stone towards hard, right? But if you're taking a lot longer to answer these questions correctly, right, then there is something not quite right in your reading process, and that is what is percolating up above when you're solving hard questions. That is what is actually impacting your RC as well. Okay, so
Okay,
just focus on medium questions today. exactly
Okay.
what I've told Manan. Okay.
Okay, I'll go through the e-GMAT process and I'll focus on these medium questions and I'll give you an
Yes.
update tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. And
Okay.
exactly what I've told Manan, and I'll share this recording with you guys so that you, again, record your thought process for yourself when you sit down to do this, and then record your thought process when you're solving the last question in your study session. And then what I want to hear from you tomorrow is what was the difference? And I want you to start using the terminology that I'm using when you're saying e-GMAT process, that is still at a very high level. What aspect of e-GMAT process do you need to build on that you're not working on today? That is something you have to get to. Is it that you're not reading appropriately? Is it that you're not contextualizing information? Is it that you're not taking notes? Is it that you're not visualizing? Is it that you're not pre-thinking? All of that stuff. And then I'm not even coming to the answer choice analysis right now, because right now I believe it's the reading issue that is impacting all you guys, or a number of you whose cases I have taken. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good. Thank you, Parth. Yeah. Let me look at Abhay's question as well. Abhay, you want me to review your account? Okay. This will be the last account that I review. Okay. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow. One second, just copying it. So some feedback that I would want you guys to give me before you guys drop off. How many of you are using the execution tracker? So right in the meanwhile, so as I'm looking at Abhay's account, you guys should type in over here about the execution tracker and the automatic updates that are happening and the feedback that you're getting over there. So tell me about that, okay? All right, so you are in verbal test readiness, okay? Good. So whenever I look at the account, I always see what was the quality of effort put in. So your quality was, I'm not super excited about it, but I'm happy to see the greens over there. Not too happy to see the yellows. So what happened over here? Were you are way past this, right? I am, but it's just interesting to know the distribution over here. Were you not completely invested in it? What was going on? But as you type, let me go into verbal over here. Verbal's call. Let's look at what your data tells me. Oh, you are struggling. Medium, how was that? See, that's the problem over here. So, Abhay, are you okay? See, that's the problem. There's a huge gulf over here. Parth, I'm going to share the recording with you. Okay. We have to. Yes, so I have your email address. I will initiate a chat with you, and I'll share the recording with you. But we will set up a system such that you can go and access the recordings automatically. Okay. Um, okay. So Abhay, your your skills are not there at all. Okay. Um, yeah, your skills are. You have to do the same thing that I told Manan and Parth and Nidhi and. So, yeah, Abhay, yeah. So I've already told you that, no, Abhay, because you said the same. You were facing the same problems that Nidhi is, right? So yeah, so implement that fix, because otherwise you're going to. Please don't even think about doing sectional mocks right now. Have you done any? Yeah, you have done 2 sectional mocks. You're going to continue to falter. So please do not do that. You need to fix where you're at right now. And if you look at your skill data, I'm going to see, yeah, this is medium, 60%, really bad, um, hard. Yeah, so there's no point in you doing sectional mocks, because you're going to simply, whatever are the gaps in your individual question performance, those gaps are going to get a lot more accentuated when you come into sectional mocks, because now you're not only answering inference questions in CR, you're answering assumption questions, you're answering RC passages. There's a lot more things that can go wrong and that will go wrong in the mock environment. Okay, so till the time you don't fix your fundamental issues, you should not even think about a sectional mock. Okay, so Abhay, exactly same thing I told to Parth and Manan. So do that, then tell me about tomorrow. Okay, make sense? All right. Yes, thank you, Abhay. Yeah. Mohit, absolutely. I look forward to receiving that video. You can put that in the smart sheet itself. Okay. I will look at both the videos. Yes, I will definitely address them. Okay. So, yes, so we are going to, I'm going to end this session now. Tell me, what are two learnings that you've had from this session? And tell me, write down your homework over here as well, whoever I have assigned homework to, so that I can follow it up tomorrow with you guys. And also give me feedback on the execution tracker. I know Daniel said you're using it, but you're really behind schedule. Okay. What aspect of it do you like, Daniel? Because when you say you're behind, you're behind schedule. Yes, so we may have to change your study plan, right? Would you want to change your study plan, Daniel, so that you can use it more? Because again, there's no, you know, trying to play catch up is something just not good, right? You feel as if you're putting in the effort, but still it's always showing you that that you're behind schedule. So would you want to redo your PSP so that your schedule is more current? Will that help, Daniel? So, Daniel, what do you mean by that? Struggling to catch with the time spending. Are you not consistent in your prep? And I haven't looked at your account. So maybe we can have this conversation tomorrow. Okay. All right, everybody. I know you guys are taking some time to write down. Okay, we can. Yeah. So I'll take a look at your account tomorrow then. Parth, homework, revise the process, reattempt medium questions, and start with inference and move to others. Yes. And Parth, again, one more thing that you have to add is that you will record your approach for the first question, and then you'll record your approach for the last question in your study session, and you will give me your analysis of what has improved, right, and what still requires improvement. See, it's a process of step by step improvement, right? You're not going to see magic happen overnight, but you are going to you're going to track what improvements you have experienced, so that you take that positive reinforcement and then implement the next set of improvements. Where do we send recording of the approach? Let me share this smart sheet link. But Manan, the approach that I need so I would say don't send me the recording, okay? Because the last thing I want is you do the recording for me and I'm not able to review that, okay? This is really an introspection for you guys. You record your thing for yourself for the first question and for the last question, and then tomorrow in the session itself, tell me the difference. Okay? Yes, let's discuss that tomorrow. But I do want you to consciously record your first and the last question, and then tell me what improvements you've had. Okay, and what improvements still need to be done. Abhay, yes, so yours is correct. Analyze the video of the first and the last question. Good. So really, Abhay, Manan, Parth, Nidhi, all four of you have the same homework, right? And for Daniel, I need to review the stuff, and then I have the homework of reviewing the entries that Daniel, Mohit, and Parth have put in, right? Good. And Parth, most likely, if I see anything different in your reading, in your entry that goes kind of against the path forward that we have for you, I will send you an email. Okay? All right then. Bye, everyone.